Oh, are you trying to sing Wings by Macklemore?
Yeah, bro.
Was it 5th grade?
Yeah.
Also, being 7 years old and touching the net, can I just say, is an insane feat of athleticism.
Pause. Sorry. Being in the 7th grade and touching the net.
No, he said he was 7. He was 7 years. He said 7 years old.
Oh, he wasn't touching the net. At
yeah, but that's what he said.
He's a rapper.
I was 7 years old and I touched the net.
Yeah, probably the little Tykes net.
Net, still, if it's an
When
actual
you're
proper
7.
net, insane. Even though that's LeBron, you know.
Oh, is that LeBron?
No, it's not. He actually does say, I'm going to search this up.
We got a podcast to record, Dylan.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still doing it. We can make this a conversation in it, because it is about sport.
Oh, we could, because I could just go, welcome back to the CouchSide Sports Report. I'm Simon, that's Dylan.
What's going on?
I don't know how it's going to work, because this is just going to fade in, and it's going to be us talking about Macklemore, and it doesn't even feel like we should be in the cut, but it is in the cut.
That's fine. Explain it. You got to explain it.
Well, I was singing Macklemore before we started recording.
Oh, man.
And now Dylan has to check the lyric.
Because I'm pretty sure in the song he says he was 7 years old when he touched the net, which can I just say is a, yeah.
If anyone's doing that at 7,
Yeah.
they'd be in the league. Macklemore would be in the league.
He starts it with, I was 7 years old when I got my first pair. I hit that, and then he goes on to say, I hit that call when I jumped so high. I swear I got so high, I touched the net.
Well, he didn't.
But that would be cracker if he touched
It would have been
net.
crazy. If you know a 7-year-old who can touch the net, ring the NBA up.
Yeah, big facts.
Because I want to talk to you. But welcome back
man.
to another episode of the CouchSide Sports
Let's
Report.
go.
I am Simon Cooper, that is Dylan Courtney. And we're here to talk about the latest and greatest in local and international sports.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, DC?
I am good, mate.
That's
DC,
good.
that's the first time. I think I'm pretty sure that's the first time you've called me that on this podcast.
I've called you DC Splash, I'm pretty sure.
This is a good
Or
point.
DC Worldwide, but not just the plain old DC.
Any high school friends that are listening to this now will know DC Worldwide.
Oh,
That's for
DC
sure.
Worldwide. That was my introduction to Big D. That's how he introduced himself to me at uni.
No, it's not.
So my name's DC Worldwide. No, it's not. It's Dylan.
If I did that, it's an absolute embarrassment.
Oh, yeah.
But that does sound like me.
No, you
unfortunately.
didn't. I do remember the first ever intercultural class.
Yes.
I still remember. I remember exactly where I sat and where you sat.
That's a bit creepy.
No, it's not creepy. I just remember. You're with your mates who you kind of already knew,
Yes, true.
and I was with people I'd like met the day before.
Yeah.
And
This is a good point.
then I recall, I think we had to do like icebreakers or something, and I think we both
Yeah.
said we like sport, and we like
Yeah.
kind of shared. We'd never spoken to each other, just looked at each other and went like, "Oh, I see how it is."
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and then little did we know,
And here we are, what?
7 years later.
Jeez,
ugh.
it's been 7 years since we've been out. That's how old we are.
It's
It's
7
been
years since we
7 years
started uni.
Since we started.
Not since
uni.
we left. We're not
It's
that
still
old.
crazy.
It's still nuts.
Oh man, because I still remember the first thing I'm pretty sure I said to you. I was like, "Oh, so you're the cup stacking guy, eh?"
I'm like, oh, you're the sports guy.
Yeah.
Eh? Gosh.
And here we are. Anyway, we're going to talk some sport, of course. We're going to talk about the All Blacks in Argentina. We're going
What?
to talk about, well, we shouldn't, but we are.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But we are going to
I
talk.
genuinely don't know what he's talking about. What else are we talking about?
But we are going to talk about the Women's World Cup.
Yeah.
That was a great result
Hmm.
for us. We're going to talk NRL. We're going to also talk NFL, since that's going to be starting up soon.
Starting next week.
We're going to talk about some Prem League, some all of that. But before that, go and follow us on all the socials at couchside.network on TikTok and Instagram. And you'll find a link in the bio there, which will take you to the podcast. But you can look up CouchSide Sports Report on Spotify or CouchSide Network on
I mean,
YouTube.
you're already
and you'll find
listening
us
to
there.
it, so
There you go.
you must have already know that step.
So just press the subscribe, the follow, the whatever button
Just
you're
follow
listening
follow
on.
us everywhere if you haven't already.
Please do.
Please.
Anyway, shall we get into this Aotearoa sport about the
sure.
about the result that you know nothing about?
I still don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever.
I
whatever.
have no clue what you're on about.
Well, at least
I
I'm
don't-
going to talk about it.
I mean, this is some foreign language you've written down here.
I'm far.
All Blacks versus Argentina. No, like that's no, that doesn't make any sense. And the numbers don't make any sense as well. I don't know what you're on about.
Oh man. Well, let's get into it anyway. But what we're going to do, because look, everybody's going to have their negative things to say about this game. We're going to start with the positives because we're going to be different.
Can I be that one guy?
No. We're going to start with the positives.
No. Yeah. Can I be on go?
Yeah, what is it?
There's no positives.
No, there is. No, stop
No,
it.
there is
Stop it.
very little.
Stop.
Very little.
Yes, I can argue.
I'll call them saving graces, not positives.
I will, for the very little, yes, fair. But we are going to start with positives first.
And what positives have you concocted?
Well, I was going to say, I've seen a lot of slander for Bowden Barrett in this game. And we are going to talk about the back line. But I actually think, especially in that first half, Bowden Barrett actually made some pretty clutch defensive plays.
Yeah. There was
that it could have been way worse.
one try saver in there. Just as people were slugging him off the most, he did that and we didn't concede.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, I think he gets a harsh rap, but it's like, who else is going to fit in there and do a better job consistently? And that answer is
Richie Mwanga, I
Yeah,
guess.
but
we
we're
don't know
not
what that's
we're not
going to
see him till October, right?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
have no clue. October next year, I should say.
Yes.
Like we don't have a clue.
Yeah.
So look, we've got to rock with him.
I think he's doing a great job anyway. Like he's developed into like a just like the most solid controlling 10 that we've got. And honestly, I think that's what all you need from a 10 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Look, we were so, we talk about this all the time, but we were so lucky to have people like Dan Carter and stuff like that. You could even throw Grant Fox, Andrew Mertens in there, Carlos Spencer to a certain extent. But, we were like, we want that star 10. I think All Blacks fans expect that star 10.
Oh,
but
they
really,
always do.
we just need one that can play the role.
We just need
And
one
that's what Bowden Barrett can do.
who's capable at everything and not extraordinary at a couple of things and only good at one thing. Because he's quite balanced, even though he obviously relied on pace a lot earlier in his career.
Yes,
But
true.
he is still a very well-rounded 10.
Yeah.
But I will say when he went off for DMAC, which I was surprised they did take him off, DMAC was definitely running and he was definitely trying to make line breaks. He felt like he was one of the only backs who tried to do that.
Yeah,
and
this
I
is a
did
good
commend
point.
him for that because I was like, well, no one else is really doing that at the moment for us.
True
Like I
that.
can recall Proctor doing it once,
Yes.
and Damien kept on attempting to do it, which is what we needed in that game.
Yes.
Because, well, among several other things. But I was happy with his cameo. After that, I'm more open to a possibility where he is starting at fullback.
Yeah.
But again, that's for a number of other reasons, and I wouldn't see that as a permanent fix.
I would like to say as well that I did think at least, I did think our especially our front row that came on off the bench, I think played great again.
We've missed Satiti. I think when he's starting, we will be a much better team because when he came on, he to me it looked like he did well with what he was given with with the card he was drawn, coming off in a losing effort and then continuing to lose and coming off with the other subs and not starting with the big guys. Like if he was starting with Artie and starting with Tupou and
which I'm sure he will now that
Absolutely.
he's back fit for these South African tests that are coming up.
Exactly, since
sure.
he's gotten some match fitness now for the All Blacks. Like he'll be starting at 8 against South Africa, you'd hope, with Artie and Tupou and whoever else is coming off the bench. Because he hasn't played, I doubt it's Luke Jacobson. It's probably Kitafi or
I guess you could see. I mean,
how do you
Simon
think Parker?
I was about to say, how do you think Simon Parker played first game?
I think he definitely kept up with the tackles from what I could tell. I couldn't tell a lot. He definitely wasn't like the type of number 8 that Artie is when he plays, or the type of number 8 when it's Satiti. He's a big body and he's there to just absorb the tackles, make the tackles.
Yes. Which is why I think he'll eventually be what he was for the Chiefs most of the season, where I think he's best at, which is 6 rather than 8, but can play both.
I think he came into the All Blacks as 6, as well. Obviously, he's came in as 8 cover to an extent because he was in instead of Leo Willie. But I think he's definitely there as a 6 option because Tupou's great at 6, but there might be a possibility where we do need him at lock. And so who else is going to play 6? Are we sold on Fino still?
True.
We can place a TT there, and if we do place a TT there, it means Parker can play 8, or we have Parker at 6 and
which probably makes more
Satiti
sense to have Satiti at 8.
I'm not against that as an option. Or we've got other players who can play 8 like Artie or Lakai or Jacobson or other players we haven't talked about. And obviously if Artie goes to 8, then that means you'd have someone like Kirifi at 7, who wasn't in this last game. But yeah, I think he was fine. I think now we knew he was thrown into the deep end a little bit. But
yeah, true.
But at the end of the day, I don't think that's his last game in an All Blacks jersey. I don't know if that cemented a spot in the game against South Africa, because I think on the bench, well, it depends who they want on the bench against South Africa. It depends what we're going to do against South Africa on the bench, because I wouldn't be surprised if Razor drops a bomb and goes with a
like a 6-2 or something along those lines.
A 7-2 split or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It would 6-2 split. It wouldn't surprise me, because he would maybe want to have multiple loose forward options, and I feel like obviously depends who's fit. If Ratima's fit, the backs does concern me a little bit. Could we get a full 90 out of Roygaard, who's been partially injured? Probably not. We probably need scrum half cover on the bench. And then what does that mean at 10? I think we're probably being super sub Damien McKenzie covering 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Which works if no one else gets injured.
Yeah.
The Blues, I think last year, playing a game where they had to play Funaki on the wing for like 60 minutes.
Yeah, they did.
Proves that. But look, the South Africa game is in 2 weeks, 3 weeks? We still got a bit of time.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
But Simon Park was fine on the park. I think Bowden was okay. Damien definitely showed what we needed from players when he came on. Yeah. Good to see Wallace back. The forwards still seem to be the strongest part of our game.
Yes.
They're definitely the strongest part of our game, and we're transferring to the negatives now.
Yes, that's fine.
We need to sort out the back line, because
big facts.
Okay, first of all, yes, Roygaard is injured, and that is hampering everything. We know that. Ratima's good, he's solid, but when he's the main scrum half, you can kind of you're just used to having Roygaard.
Yeah.
And Ratima's not a bad player at all, but you're just used to Roygaard and what he can do, and if you don't get it out of Ratima or Christie or whoever, you notice it, and it sucks because it's not on anyone. But when Roygaard's back, I think it'll be strengthened a bit. You wouldn't swap Bowden out for DMAC now, unless Bowden has an absolute shitter multiple times. I don't think he had individually a shitter on the weekend. Everyone had a shitter.
Yeah.
So,
true.
Because if you can say, Bowden played like shit, well, Will Jordan played like shit. Are we dropping him? No. Blah, 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 played like shit. Well, are you going to drop him? No. Yeah, you're only saying that because
Geordie Barrett didn't have the best game.
Geordie Barrett did not have a great game. No. Billy Proctor was all right. No. The thing is, we need to figure out the back line soon.
Yes.
And that's why I said I'm not against Damien playing at 15, because he played well there against France. He despite playing as a 10, did the right thing coming off the bench against Argentina and trying to attack. You could have him play at 15. Jordan didn't have a great game against Argentina in this one. Have him at 14 and have Caleb Clark at 11 if he's fit.
Yeah.
I feel like that is a much more stable backline at this point in time, because our wing stocks are not great and we are struggling so much under the high ball.
Yes. Thank you for addressing the elephant in the room.
It was so, because we talked about that last week.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we won.
We've talked about it for the last 2 weeks.
We won this by a massive window, massive margin, but we still need to fix the high ball. What do? You don't fix the high ball and we lose.
Yeah.
That was probably the number one critique I think probably every single person who watched that game had.
Yes.
We can't catch a high ball. Every time they kick the ball to us, we're not catching it. And we kick it back to them. I don't know what the point is. If we're not going to be able to catch a high ball, why are we kicking it back to them as well?
Yes.
Because clearly they can.
So that's why I said to you, I think the All Blacks with that team had to play a more possession game.
Because with McKenzie, I don't think of him as someone who's bad under the high ball. I don't think he's someone who's good under the high ball. No. Obviously, but he's not bad.
No.
And he's not better than Jordan. Jordan's typically good under the high ball. I think he was kind of just on his own last week as the only capable player. But Caleb, as we know, is brilliant under the high ball. And yes, he has barely played. Well, I don't think he's played at all for the All Blacks this year. We need that presence.
Yes.
I think
agreed.
Most people need to realise that we don't need Caleb Clark's try-scoring ability. And they'll say, well, he didn't score a single try this season. No, we need the fact he can jump under a ball.
Yes, facts.
That's more important than scoring tries.
Because I know South Africa is there licking their chops.
Oh, they are.
If Ioane and Sevu Reece are starting there going, yep, we're kicking it high every single time.
If it's Libic or Sasha or Pollard, they're just going to be fucking boot, 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 boot. Even Colby's going to go boot, 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 boot. LaRue's going to boot, boot, boot. And Fussy, they're all just going to kick high, long balls at Eden Park, and we're going to be... Like, they'll be reaching our height because we're like halfway up the south stand, our tickets, and we're going to see these high balls, and we're going to be praying.
We are going, by the way, we are going to be
We're
going to be
like, come on, don't fuck this up, don't fuck this up, don't fuck this up.
That is something that needs to be much improved.
Absolutely. So I would love to see a back three of Caleb Clark, Will Jordan, Damian McKenzie for now, because our wing stocks are in such a place at the moment that I just don't know like how we fix it, because clearly Rico Ioane's not going to learn how to catch a high ball anytime soon. And
I think he needs to learn how to catch a ball.
I
hate saying that
because
I love him to
but
death,
he hasn't offered a lot. He maybe played a little bit better on the wing, but I think he's also only there because they wanted to give Billy Proctor a run, who actually hasn't done too much with that opportunity. I hate to say it, but if there were capable wingers who were fit, I don't think Rico... Well, either Rico would be still at 13 or he would be at 23 or not even in the squad. Apparently, the rumours are that as soon as he's got games under his belt, Caleb Tangitote is going to be an All Black, which I'm not against. From the top of my head, I can't for the life of me think if he is a high ball specialist. He is a similar ball.
He's not. I can't like. I know this. I know he's not a high ball specialist.
No,
he's not like Caleb Clark. Clark in terms of the way he plays, because I guess that's probably the closest comparison in terms of All Blacks right now. He's like a Caleb Clark, but not as good under the high ball.
But that's fine if you've got Clark on the other wing and you've got Jordan at fullback. To me, that's fine, and that's where you have Jordan return to fullback. Because I've been saying, you keep Jordan at fullback, don't move him. Right now, what the hell are we going to do?
We might have to.
What the hell are we going to do? Are we going to put Amoni Narawa there? Like, he's a capable player, and he's been fine in his cameos for the All Blacks, but he hasn't played a lot. He hasn't been trusted enough.
Yeah.
Like,
although Amoni Narawa, you could argue with the outside of our injured wingers, is probably the best one under the high.
No, he will be, because he's the only tall one.
Yeah.
He's the only...
No, Rico Ioane is pretty tall, bro. Oh, we're talking like 6'1", 6'2", but...
Yeah, he doesn't bloody utilise it, does he?
No, he does not.
God, I would kill for an extra 3 inches just to jump.
Hey, like... We are talking about height, right?
Yes, we're talking about height, you sicko. Not even 20 minutes into the podcast. God.
But yes, you are right.
If Rose was so scared and named Narawa at 14 and someone else on the left wing and Jordan at fullback, sure. That's fine with me. But if Jordan is on the wing and McKenzie's at fullback, then that's clearly Ruben Love on the bench against South Africa. Not the worst thing in the world, I will say. And then another... probably midfielder on the bench or Rico on the bench. Who knows?
I think if you're, actually before this ends on wingers, I will say this. I would actually genuinely think about this, not for this year, but next year. Actually, before I say that, because we've been talking bad, can I just say the Argentinians played an excellent game, and if you don't think
the Argentinians were incredible,
and if you don't think they're good, watch this space, because they're going to prove you wrong.
Let's just say, we didn't lose because we played like shit. We lost because A, we played like shit.
Yes.
And B, Argentina played out of their skin.
Yes.
And played knowing, like, to our disadvantages, which obviously was why we were playing shit. But that's rugby.
And can I just say some out of characteristic stuff for us? We missed 40 tackles. That doesn't happen very often.
Unfortunately, Bowden's kicking was off, and I do realise that if it was on, that we actually probably would win that game.
Yes.
Not that we would have deserved to win that game.
Nope, agreed.
But yeah, look, I think I'm surprised they didn't take the goal kicking duty off Bowden until he went off. I'm surprised after he missed the first two, they didn't chuck Geordie on straight away.
Yeah,
because that's what they've done in the past, and Geordie possibly would have made those kicks. But...
it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that back line, man. Because does Razor panic and change it?
Hold on. Let me throw an audible here. Let me throw a massive fucking audible the size of Geordie Barrett. And what do we say? Instead of putting D-Mac at 15 and shifting Jordan in the wing,
we put Geordie at the back.
We move Geordie there, and we actually give either Tupai or Tafatavanawa a genuine shot at inside centre. Maybe not against South Africa.
I was about to say.
Maybe not against South Africa. I don't think you do that against
South Africa. But I'm not even sure you do that against Australia. But
maybe not even against Australia. But well, I don't know. Well, fuck it. Maybe it's the way to do it because, like, I think Tupaia and Tapatapanawa are very capable players.
True.
And Geordie's a very capable player himself. Like, he can clearly play fullback. He played there briefly for Leinster. That's where he played before inside centre. And his height and his high ball would be bloody brilliant, and that doesn't get utilised at centre.
True.
So if we had him at fullback, I think that solves a lot of issues. You have Jordan on the wing.
Could solve a lot of
issues.
issues.
Solve a lot of issues. I think it'd be very likely it could. But look, I don't know if Razor will do that, but the fact that he's named so many centres, it kind of feels like he's been like quietly hinting. Because why have you named all of his centres still, even with Rico becoming an outside back?
Yes.
You still named so many centres. Are you hinting that one of these centres isn't actually a centre? And we all thought it would be Tapatapanawa still a wing. No. Maybe it's Geordie going back to fullback, and maybe we've been so blind and have not realised. If he's starting at fullback against South Africa, sure. Because you know who will start at 12? It won't be Tupaia. It won't be Tapatapanawa. It will be double-barrelled man, Anton Leonard-Brown, which I don't know if I agree with that.
Nah, neither.
But that's what they would probably do. It will be Leonard-Brown and Proctor in midfield with Geordie at the back. Unfortunately, it won't be Tupaia at 12 or Tapatapanawa at 12, who probably deserve it more. And that's not offense to Leonard-Brown because, like, he's just barely played rugby this year. And that's because of injuries. Not because he's not good. He's clearly good. He's almost got 100 caps for the bloody All Blacks.
Yes.
But that's probably what will happen because he's the tried, tested inside. I've always thought he's more of an inside than out. I don't know. Because he's played both.
He has played both. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that back line, whether Razor like sticks more with what has or there's a drastic change. What I will say is this, and I'm thinking maybe in future with options on the wing. Yes, you have Tangito, but if we're going to struggle that much under the high ball, there is two names.
Two very big names.
Two
big tall names.
I wouldn't even say big tall names, but two names that you have mentioned before.
Big tall Tasman boys.
Yes.
Both of them.
That I would consider because they are fantastic. One of them especially is fantastic under the high ball.
The one who actually played the majority of the Super Rugby season.
Yes, and that is Kyron Tomoe-Falau.
When he's eligible.
And if he plays in Super Rugby more, which I think he should, I'm talking Macca Springer.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Shea Fihaki is not bad under the high ball either.
Shea Fihaki, honestly, from what I've seen from him in NPC, he's looked good. And I'm surprised he hasn't been like thrusted in with a chance.
Who's he playing for?
Canterbury,
I thought so. Yeah.
Like, I'm genuinely surprised he hasn't been more considered this year with the injuries. Like, I'm surprised Razor's actually gone for Leroy Carter, and surprised I'm hearing Tangito and not Fihaki.
Yes.
But I think you have Fihaki, Springer, and Tomoe-Falau are all kind of wingers of the same crop almost because they also have played fullback. All three of them are quite tall. Yeah. Like, they're taller than you. So just as not to height shame you or anything. Look at me. It just adds to like compare. Like, they're taller than Dylan, so they're tall. Very tall men.
So people have context, because I'm sitting down on a couch right now. I'm 6 foot. Just. I call it 6 foot in the morning, 5'11" by night, like Batman. but I am just 6 foot.
They're both all your cousin's height.
Yes,
which is quite tall for a back.
Both of my cousins are taller than me.
I'm pretty sure I might not actually be the shortest guy cousin.
Come on,
both of my families. I think on my mum's side I'm the shortest, but on my dad's side I'm pretty sure my youngest cousin is just a smidgen shorter than me, which I will take with great pride.
And I'm the shortest guy cousin on my mum's side, and one of the taller ones on my dad's.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Yeah, but anyway, besides the point. But yeah, like, we're going to need help under that high ball.
We do.
So let's say this, just to end this. Oh, that's my feet squeak. Let's just say this.
Squeaky boots, SpongeBob.
to end this conversation off, like, if you were going to have a back line to start against South Africa, 9 to 15, who you got?
Now, assuming everyone's fit.
Yeah, yes, assuming.
Or can I pick anyone?
No, assuming that everyone that's been selected for the All Blacks is fit.
Because I was just gonna hit you with the 2015 backline.
I know that, but I'm thinking, I'm talking like, I'm going to presume Cam Roygaard will be back for South Africa.
So for me, I'm going Roygaard, Bowden, and this is where it gets very tricky. Caleb on the left.
So you got 19 at 11.
Yep. Jordan at 14. So
Okay, you're going to put him on the wing.
I'm going to put him on the wing. And at 15, if I get Geordie at 15,
Yep, say less.
Billy at 13,
Yeah.
and I could pick one of 3 names for 12. And I'm going to say, although I'd love it to be Tawatapanawai Tupaia, I think it would be Leonard Brown in that situation. So in order, Roigard, Barrett, Clark, Leonard Brown, Proctor, Jordan, Geordie. I know it's a bit crazy considering Leonard Brown didn't play particularly well against Argentina, but that's just. But if I could pick the 12, it's Tawatapanawai.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to pick my 12. That's how it's going to go. So I would go Roigard if he's fit.
Yep.
Bowden Barrett, definitely. Caleb Clark if he's fit, because we need that high ball help.
Yep.
12, I'm going Tawatapanawai.
Well.
13, I'm going Geordie Barrett.
You're doing your.
I'm doing my Geordie Barrett at 13.
What he's been shouting at the gods for 6 months to
do. At 14,
yeah,
I'm going Will Jordan.
Yep.
And I think at 15, I think you'd have to go D-Mac.
Well, are we kind of forgetting that Ruben Love isn't particularly horrendous?
Ruben Love is there, but I don't think you
Against
trust
South
him in
Africa.
South Africa games yet.
Yes.
Although I will say, in the game he played against France, I don't think he played too bad.
No,
so,
I think he was always going to play quite well.
So yeah, that's I guess that's our ideal back lines, and those are quite. Let's be real, those are quite changed.
And the
from what it
forwards
was
won't.
before.
The forwards won't change too much, but also we are greatly missing Patrick Toipolo off the bench.
Yes,
that's
agreed.
a massive loss, and the fact we won't have him against South Africa likely is a massive loss. Probably one of the biggest losses this year.
Get Josh Lord out, chuck Sam Derry in these games,
or Arkoi. Just
agreed.
Do it the right way. But I'm sick of talking about this game.
Yeah, fair. Let's talk about something that did go positively well for the Black Ferns.
Somewhat positively.
Somewhat positively was their first game at the Women's World Cup. That's in England right now.
And it was a 54-8 win over the Spanish. A big win, however, there was a slow start. And there were 3 separate injuries. One of them probably rolling out Kaipo Olsen-Baker out of the rest of the tournament.
Yeah,
which
tough.
is great for one of our loose forwards. Also, winger Aisha Letienga, who I think scored twice.
Yes, she did.
Also was helped off the pitch. And because we'd already made all our subs, we actually ended the game off for 13 women. But we obviously still won the game by over 40 points. And also, Amy Duplessis did suffer a shoulder injury and stayed on, but then came off, I believe, at half time. So obviously, Spain, fine team, but it's the Black Ferns at the end of the day. They'll be happy.
Am I not mistaken as well? 21-year-old Georgia Miller also scored twice.
She also scored twice.
Flanker.
And was probably
open side flanker.
One of the better players on the day. Well, she's a sevens player originally, so
still, you're doing that at flanker is tough.
It's nuts. But yeah, she's obviously been one of the biggest prospects in New Zealand rugby in general
for quite a while,
several years.
Yeah.
And obviously in the Black Ferns setup now, I do wonder if that means she will be playing Opiki next year, and because she is from Christchurch, I believe it'll probably be for Matatu, which I think would be just an incredible acquisition for them.
It'd be huge.
Because they made the final this year and only went down to a Blues team who was so stacked at outside back they had to put Portia Woodman-Wycliffe in the centres, who I believe scored her 21st Women's World Cup try
she did.
in this game, which is about 21 tries.
So just to speak on the injuries, the Kaipo Olsen-Baker one, if it's a World Cup ender, man,
in the first game,
I hope the best recovery for her. With Aisha Letienga and Amy Duplessis, key players, especially Duplessis in those centres. But I do think we have quite the depth at back. And I say that because we have the greatest women's player of all time on the team, who can clearly play centre, who's probably who's the greatest winger of all time.
Who probably have to play in the centres for the next games. Speaking of our next game, is next Monday morning at 1 a.m. against Japan. So they lost to Ireland, I believe. We'll talk about that in a sec, by around 20 points. So fucking good luck to the Black Ferns for the rest of the tournament, obviously.
Big facts.
Keep it up.
We'll keep tabs on it for sure.
I just wish the games were at a decent time, because some of the other games are at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah, I
know.
All
of our games are at like 1 a.m., 4 a.m. Like,
It's an England thing.
It's an
I
England
reckon
thing.
England tried to do us dirty like that because because they're still pissed about losing the last final. Which, can I just say, I'm going to say it until the cows come home, the greatest game of rugby I've ever seen.
Yeah,
greatest game of rugby I've ever seen.
For Union, it's up there for me. Yeah. It's probably just above the 20, I think it was 18 NPC final between Auckland and Canterbury, which went to extra time.
Yes.
Which was a great game. But let's move on to the NRL.
Let's go, man.
Slightly more positive. The One New Zealand Warriors, clearly the dominant team. Barely any struggle in the Gold Coast against the Titans, coming up 32-18. Their first win over the Titans in quite some time. We lost to them twice last year and earlier this year. So massive to get a win over our bogey team. I had some mates over to watch this game, and we were pleasantly surprised by how good we were playing.
And I'm sorry that I couldn't get over there.
It's fine. It's fine. By the time the UFC main event was on later in the night, 3 of us had already dozed off. One of us was already snoring. One of us had already.
We are getting old, eh?
We are getting very old. One of the people was intoxicated, but that's fine.
Fair enough.
But a great win for the Warriors. Real confidence booster. Tanner Boyd did not miss a single kick. Obviously, Rocco Berry is back.
And didn't get injured?
And I don't believe got injured. We also saw other players return from injury, who I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But it's all looking very good with 2 games to go. The other games we'll quickly look at. The Rabbitohs absolutely dicked the Dragons 40-0, cementing that they are not going to be in the playoffs. Last week, they knew it was basically not going to happen because they lost the Warriors. But now they clearly don't know because one of the worst teams in the comp has put 40 on them. The Panthers... Holy crap! This
game, man. The Panthers in these close games.
The Panthers are not winning. Or I think they have won some close games, but they're also losing some. Going down to the Raiders after Nathan Cleary misses a golden point dropkick attempt. It is recovered by a Raiders back. Might have been Weeks or another one.
It was Weeks,
and they somehow run the ball up. It was him and another back. He passes it to whoever else. They score to win the game, 16-20 in Golden Point. Very similar to Lecker's charge down. Was a much longer distance, but keep in mind that these were 2 backs with little coverage in their way, and Lecker is a forward, and he had a whole heap of coverage in his way for his try. Not obviously trying to damper a great moment for the Raiders.
Absolutely.
The Storm win a very important game against the Bulldogs, 20-14, kind of rubber stamping that second place. Obviously, we've got the Seagulls, a big win over the Dolphins, 58-30. A lot of points scored there, but it's a Dolphins game, so it's hardly surprising. The Eels, a huge win for them over the Roosters, 30-10. The Eels aren't in playoff contention, but the Roosters definitely are, so they probably aren't happy with that result.
Nope.
The Knights, one of the worst teams in the comp, going down to the Broncos, one of the better teams in the comp, 12-46 at home. And then despite scoring an unbelievable try, the West Tigers went down to the Cowboys at home 28-34. They were wearing retro jerseys based on the 05 jersey, which looked sick. And was a great try scored by, I think it was Buller, Dream Buller, who I always forget is actually Kiwi. There you go. Dream Buller scored a fantastic try, which I think started off from like the other side of the pitch, and they just kept on passing, and somehow they scored.
Good on.
So with that being said, let's just quickly run through the table, and then I will break down the next 2 weeks.
Actually, before that happens, just want to say the Warriors-Titans game, of course, they played for the Zay Wallace Shield.
Yes.
Which the Warriors did win. And I will always say this when his name comes up. Rest in peace, brother. That's a guy I actually knew.
Yes.
So that's a guy I played rugby with, and that is still to this day the best rugby player, even when I was younger, which I played rugby until I was 12. But that is still the best. That's still the best rugby player I've ever played with.
Yeah, you kind of don't forget that, do you?
No, you don't. I've never seen somebody slip out of more tackles in my life. In my life, crazy.
Unfortunately, I can't tell. Unfortunately, I know who the best player I played rugby with was, but I do not remember playing with him. But I know he would have been on the pitch, and that is current Penrith Panthers Lucy Isaiah Papali'i, because he went to my intermediate, and I played lunchtime rugby. Lunchtime league before they made sure they basically forbid anyone from playing if you didn't own a mouth guard, and essentially every single guy in school was playing lunchtime league. It felt like, so basically everyone who wasn't on the team stopped playing because no one was buying a mouth guard just to play at lunch.
Still good memories though.
But rest in peace to Say Wallace, like you said.
Man. But I will. Do you want me to actually go through? Do you want to go table, or do you want to go through?
Well, I was going to go table first and then break down the games.
Let's go.
Because, the Warriors have got their place in the playoff. That is confirmed. I'm just trying to do the math here with 2 games to go. The teams who are actually mathematically. So the Tigers, have a mathematical chance, but it's a very slim mathematical chance because it requires a lot of bullshit to not go the way of the Roosters. So I actually think it's probably mathematically not possible, but the Sea Eagles are probably the one other team, the lowest team, who can try to claim they have finals footy. So it's just the top 10. At the top of the table, the Raiders on 42 points. They're still 2 points clear of the Storm. They've probably got number 1 rubber stamped. The Storm are 4 points clear of the Bulldogs with a much better point difference of our top 2. I don't see that changing. The Bulldogs, they've probably got 3rd rubber stamped, although I think they do have 1 or 2 pretty big games, and we will talk about those in a sec.
They have 2 big games.
So the Warriors could maybe sneak 3rd. I'm not going to say anything, but we're on 34 points, 2 points behind the Bulldogs, and 2 points ahead of both the Broncos and the Sharks. So both of them have big games leading up to the finals. The Panthers are now down in 7th. They were as high as 4th at one stage. They're a point behind the Broncos and the Sharks, 3 points behind us, so they could still overtake us. But the Roosters are 6 points behind us and 3 points behind the Panthers. They cannot finish above us, so we can only finish as low as 7th. But I reckon top 4 is surprisingly very likely now. But the Roosters from South are only 2 points ahead of the Dolphins, who have a better point difference in them, and the Sea Eagles, who they have a much better point difference in. So the Sea Eagles and the Dolphins need stuff to go their way, and so do the Roosters. The Titans are still rock bottom, and then just to tell you who's 11th to 16th, you've got the Tigers, then the Cowboys, then the Dragons, then the Eagles, then the Rabbitohs, and the Knights, and then the Titans. And all of those teams, the Tigers to the Rabbitohs, which is 11th to 15th, is only a difference of 4 points, so that could all dramatically change by the end of the season. The Knights and the Titans are probably just a little bit too far away. Can I borrow your sheet while I go over this? Just because the 2 different games are on 2 different rounds are on 2 different pages.
Yes, go for it.
I need to.
I trust.
So let's just go team by team, and I'll explain what the predicament is for every team. So the Raiders, they're first. They host the Tigers next week, so that's probably 2 points for them. And then the following week, they're away to the Dolphins. So that's a massive game for the Dolphins, which they'll want to win because they'll probably need to win it to make the playoffs. For the Raiders, what it means is that it's probably, a game that they also want to win because there's still the chance the Storm could overtake them if they only win one of their next games. Speaking of the Storm, they host the Roosters next week, which is a big game. It's 2nd versus 8th. The Roosters will be fired up because they're 8th currently. They don't want to lose again like to the Eagles because if they had won this week, the Roosters would be still in 8th, but only a point behind the Panthers, so it would have really opened it up for them.
True.
So they'll be gutted, but so obviously the Storm will be wanting to win this as well to put pressure on the Raiders, even though they are assured top 2. So they're doing this just to be minor premiers. But then the next week, they're away to the Broncos. This is going to be a massive game.
Yeah,
it's a huge game because the Broncos will think they've got a top 4 chance because they're not too far behind us, and we're not too far behind the Bulldogs. So the Broncos will be fired up for this. That's a game you got to look out for. The Storm have 2 top 8 teams back-to-back, which isn't the easiest way to end the season, but they're already top 2, and there's still a chance they could beat the Raiders because we don't know what the Raiders will do against the Dolphins. Moving on to the Bulldogs, they've got the Panthers this week on Thursday, I believe.
Crazy.
So that's not great for them, but it's great for us. So the Bulldogs host the Panthers, and then the next week, the Bulldogs are
against the Sharks.
So again, that's 2 teams in the top 8 back-to-back weeks. Both teams who think they've got a chance to crack 4. I don't think they can overtake the Bulldogs per se. I mean, the Sharks probably won't, and the Panthers can't. But they know that if we, the Warriors, who I'll talk in a sec, stuff up, perfect opportunity if they're able to knock off the Bulldogs.
Yeah, true.
So again, the Bulldogs and the Broncos seem to have the Bulldogs Storm really tough last 2 games of the season, despite basically being assured of their places.
Yep.
The Warriors, we are hosting The Eagles this week, 14th in the league, just beat the Roosters, so that is something to be concerned about, and they do have some good players on their team, but we will be feeling pretty confident about this. Yeah. If we win this game and the Bulldogs do lose to the Panthers at home, we will be level on points, but because the Bulldogs have almost 100 more points than us on point difference, we will remain in fourth, which is fine. And we would require the Bulldogs to lose again to the Sharks the following week, which could happen. We could finish third, but it would have to be the case that the Bulldogs lose their next 2 games, which they're not easy games, so it could happen. We then have a very interesting away trip to Manly. That will be difficult because they are 10th. They're probably the lowest ranked team now who has a chance to get into the 8. They will be wanting to win this game. Even if they lose their game this week, which I can tell you is against the Dragons, which are probably favoured to win, they will. If they lose that, though, I don't know if there is really a shot, because if they lose and the Dolphins and the Roosters both win, that puts them out. So it depends what happens. We keep an eye on the Sea Eagles game, and so we won't even cover the Sea Eagles because I basically just did. If they lose against the Dragons and at least the Dolphins and the Roosters win, it's probably the end of the road for them. But keep in mind, the Roosters are up against the Storm, so that will not be easy. And the Dolphins, who I've yet to talk about, are up against the the Dolphins playing the Titans, so it should be a shoo-in for them. So if the Storm do lose to the Roosters, then we could see the Sea Eagles out if they lose to the Dragons, which is a huge possibility, and it takes a lot of pressure off us in that final game, I think, because the Sea Eagles won't have anything to play for. They won't have finals footy to play for. They'll only have their pride, and knowing the Sea Eagles, they don't like pride. Moving on to the 5th place team. If you get that joke, I respect it. We are an LGBTQA plus safe zone here. Amen.
I probably shouldn't have said it like that, but yes, we are.
We are. So sorry, we only had to say that because I made a joke about how the Manly Seagulls players didn't want to wear their pride jersey 2 years ago. It should be a given that we respect everyone. Moving,
big facts.
Unless you're a fuckwit. Moving to the Broncos. They're 5th. The Broncos are 5th. We already talked about their first game. They play the Cowboys this week. So, Queensland Derby, it's in Townsville. Potentially scary for them, but they'll be feeling pretty confident. They win this game, they put pressure on us. They'll overtake us if we lose because of points difference. But then, like we said, they host the Storm the following week. So that's a tough game for them. If they win that, fair play. Overtake us, sure, if we don't win,
True.
So that's a big game for the Broncos. Tough going to Townsville, and then now you've got to host the Storm in Brisbane, and most of the players from the Storm are from Brisbane originally, so it's basically a home game for them. So it's not fair.
Yeah, true.
You have the Sharks next up. The Sharks, they are hosting the Knights this week, so they'll be thinking they can win that game, and that's very important. They're level on points with the Broncos. They could overtake us if the Broncos lose and we lose. But then the following week, the Sharks are up against the Bulldogs, so that's a tough game for them. That will be easier said than done, but the Sharks, like we said, compared to the Sea Eagles, they're up by 6 points, so they're in the playoffs. Like, they don't have to worry about it. They want to worry about getting into top 4.
Yeah.
And I'll try and run through the rest of these pretty quickly. The Panthers, we already know they're away to the Bulldogs this week, and they are away to the Dragons the following week. So even if they don't beat the Bulldogs, they've probably got a winnable game at the Dragons. There's a chance they beat the Bulldogs, which is beneficial for us, kind of, because that means there's still a chance they overtake us, but it's also beneficial for us because it's a chance the Bulldogs go on the 2-game losing streak and we finish 3rd.
Very true.
Which would be just the greatest how did we finish 3rd moment.
Yeah, true.
And then the Roosters, like we said, away to the Storm this week, and then the following week the Roosters are hosting the Rabbitohs in a Sydney derby. So they'll be expecting to win the last game, but obviously to have to go to Melbourne is not easy, especially if your top 8 hopes hinge on it. And we know the Dolphins are hosting the Titans on the same week. So if you're a Roosters fan, you're probably going to be a bit nervous because you're probably expecting the Dolphins to win that, and you're probably expecting to lose to Melbourne, and you're probably going to find yourself with the Dolphins overtaking you because they have the points difference to do so. The Sea Eagles don't have the points difference to overtake the Roosters, so they're not going to be sweating that. And obviously the Sea Eagles are away to the Dragons, so who knows. I've probably done enough talking about this for everyone. But I feel like that's kind of explained all the possibilities for all the teams which matter. If I had to guess, the Raiders are probably going to stay first. The Storm are probably going to stay second. And that's going to open up the door for the Warriors to really hammer on in fourth. The Bulldogs do have a realistic chance of losing to the Panthers and losing to the Sharks. And both of those teams will be very much wanting to do that. And there's actually a chance that the Broncos could overtake them and the Bulldogs fall out the top four if that's the case. And if the Bulldogs lose by enough and the Sharks win by enough in their games, then there's a chance they fall to sixth. But I think that's very unlikely.
Yeah.
And then the Panthers are essentially safe. They are 5 points clear of the Dolphins and the Sea Eagles. It's just the Roosters now who are at risk of missing out the 8, who are currently in the 8. So look out for the Roosters. I think the Dolphins have a really good chance of making 8th ahead of them. The Roosters are kind of shafted by playing the Storm this week. Yeah. But they do have the Rabbitohs next week, and that week the Dolphins do have the Raiders. So maybe the Roosters are safe.
Before we move on, can we get everybody listening? I can only click because I'm holding a microphone. Can we get a clap for my man? Clap for my man for that beauty right there.
All I did
was
yap.
Good. That was good as fuck.
But I'll go
awesome.
on vocal rest for the NRLW, so you can carry that.
Oh, I've got you, mate. Don't worry about that.
He's got me.
Of course, the NRL Wahine played as well. So I'll just run through them. The Bulldogs lost at home to the Raiders, 56-24. Didn't go very well.
No.
The Titans won at home to the Dragons, 22-4. The Eels got smacked by the Roosters, and the Roosters were away from home. So the Eels lost 12-56. The Knights also got hammered at home by the Broncos, 46-16. The Warriors, unfortunately, lost to the Sharks 22-14, and the West Tigers at home, another team at home getting smacked by the Cowboys 30-8. So that does mean that the Women's Warriors do fall out of the top 6, and for the NRLW, you want to be in the top 6. That means you're in the playoffs. The Roosters do stay undefeated at the top of the table. And the Eels, who are in 6th, are tied with the Warriors, but the Warriors are, of course, 7th, one place below them. And then next week, the Wahines, the Warriors women, look to get themselves back into the top 6 away against the Dragons.
And what do I keep on saying about the Warriors? I know they're plagued by injury this season at the moment. We were denied the opportunity to sign an injury player, I believe. But what I've been saying is that if we lose, I don't mind if we lose as long as we're not losing by the most. Out of all of those teams who lost this week, who was the only team who lost and didn't get battered? Us.
That's a very good point.
Only team who lost within the 10-point margin. Every other team
I think we can make the top 6.
We could.
I think we can make the top 6.
We just need to get that cohesion. Obviously, a lot of the squad's injured, so we need to just make sure that we're keeping it together, losing players for various reasons.
It really is a Warriors thing getting injured.
It is, especially this year.
Oh, man. But anyway, while you're doing this, because I forgot to put the Manawatu Wellington score for the NPC.
I'll roll up the NPC. I didn't actually watch any NPC this weekend, unfortunately. I had been in a really good habit. But if we look at it, Bay of Plenty dropping another game at home, this time to Southland 25-30. Hawke's Bay, who were one of the form teams of the comp, going down to another form team of the comp, Canterbury 7-26. And we have our first Shield change of the season.
Yes,
Taranaki at home lose on an 80th minute penalty scored by none other than Waikato's Lima Sopoaga, and the ball literally fell off the tee seconds before he hit it, with the clock cutting, the shot clock counting down. Congratulations on the Mulus for your Shield win. North Harbour against Tasman, they went down 19-43. Unfortunately, Tasman's a very stacked team. Auckland, when will the pain end? Lose to Northland at home, 24-43. Otago, a big win for them at home against Counties Manukau, 33-19. And Mr. Dillon, can you tell me the Manawatu Wellington score?
So the Manawatu Turbos, they get the win against Wellington, 38-28. Mr. Filimone with the double.
He's been very good for them.
Actually, no. Tofa and Filemone both had doubles. Were they both the wingers, if I'm not mistaken?
Filemone
Yes.
is usually a winger.
Both the wingers. For
good wing
Manawatu
play.
ended up getting doubles.
Call him up, Razor. Next week, NPC. Waikato's first defense of the Shield is up against Southland. Southland, please win the Shield. I think it has been 16 years because they won it in 2009.
Yes.
Because this is going to be a bit of Simon Law. My mum used to be mad scrapbooker back in the day. And she was on a website, like a forum, because obviously forums would rage. And on a scrapbooking forum. And I'd always look at mum's computer when I was bored.
Yeah.
And someone was clearly from Invercargill because her footer of every post she put was the Southland Stags Ranfurly Shield winners. So that's how I remember it was in 2009 the last time they won it.
It would be cool to see them win
I'd love to see the Stags win it. And they've got some good players. Canterbury take on Manawatu. Auckland travel to Wellington. And it is third versus fourth as Tasman face Otago.
Yes, sir.
And the Farah Palmer Cup, some big scorelines here as always. And some great team names as Dylan has often told us. The Taranaki Fio against the Tasman. Went down 25-48. Your North Harbour Hibiscus, I'm so sorry. Go down 10-28 against the Wellington Pride. Canterbury, no nickname, score 62 against the Counties Banako Heat, who scored 21. Auckland Storm, welcome back, baby. We're back in business.
This is tough.
Beat the Bay of Plenty Volcanics. Sorry, Stanley and Amy. 104-30.
That's tough. That's tough.
Great win for Auckland Sport. The Otago Spirit beat the Northland Cody 48-15, and another big win. The Manawatu Cyclones beat the Hawke's Bay Tui 73-5. Next week, the second place Auckland Storm take on the third place Manawatu Cyclones. The table toppers Canterbury take on Waikato, who had the bye this week, and on top of the championship, the Wellington Pride take on the Taranaki Fio.
Yeah, because I didn't know the Farah Palmer Cup was split by.
I did forget that
was by Premiership and Championship,
and it's crazy because Hawke's Bay are in the Premiership. And they've been dicked multiple times this year.
That's mad.
It must have been a player, I don't know. Unfortunately, don't know the story of the Hawke's Bay Tui.
I'm actually surprised that NPC don't go back to doing that. I'm pretty sure everybody's on the table together.
Do it, but bring Heartland back into it. Have a free tier NPC system. I'm all here for it.
Yes.
I'm here for the Thames Valley redemption story.
Yes. Agreed.
I'm here for it.
Agreed.
And moving on to the local football Australia Cup, Auckland in a hilarious penalty shootout defeated Sydney 3-1 on penalties after it was 1-1 at full time. Auckland FC will play Heidelberg, who thumped Wellington 4-0 in their quarterfinal.
They did.
This Saturday at 9:30 p.m. The second semi-final sees Victorian National Premier League team Avondale FC up against A-League side the Newcastle Jets. It will be played on Sunday at 5 p.m. Auckland probably the favourites for this competition at this point, which is brilliant to see. As we move on,
never know what's going to happen
to the international football in the second match week of the Premier League, and for fuck's sake, my fantasy team is ruined already. It is not great. Cole Palmer getting injured in the warm-up.
I still haven't made one.
I know. Probably just don't bother at this point. Cole Palmer getting injured in the warm-up really threw off the week for me, but it didn't matter for Chelsea.
How long is he out for?
We don't know yet.
Okay,
it might have just been a little bit of a slight niggle or whatnot.
Yeah,
but Chelsea don't need him. 5-1 win over West Ham.
Tough.
João Pedro with a double. Spurs, holy crap. Big win for them. They always seem to do well at the Etihad. They kept that streak up. 2-0 win over Man City.
Sir.
Massive for them. Bournemouth get a good win at home against Wolves 1-0. Brentford, good start to the season for them. And Aston Villa, you're selling me on fantasy. Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins, what are you doing? You're losing to Brentford after they lost all of their firepower? No Embuemo?
If anybody ever wonders why I don't play fantasy, you're hearing it right now.
It's only the second match week too. It's crazy. And Burnley, massive win for them. Sunderland had a big win last week, but Burnley getting a big win this week, 2-0 for them. And Arsenal, huge win over Leeds. Bit of a confidence booster despite the fact they won last week. Victor Gyökeres with a double, and also 15-year-old Max Dowman becomes the second youngest Premier League player of all time. He's the guy I talked about in preseason, who I said people were saying he's a Messi comparison, which is crazy. Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, it's a 1-1 draw. Everton, their first game in their brand new home stadium, the Hall Dickinson Stadium in Liverpool, get a big 2-0 win over Brighton. Jack Grealish providing the 2 assists on the day, seems to be really settled in at Everton already. He was a guy who just needed to play because at Man City they stacked the team so much and they forget about players so quickly.
Facts.
And he was a victim of that. playing well for the Toffees. And then Fulham sneak a 1-1 draw at Man United at home against Man United this morning, 1-1. Newcastle host Liverpool tomorrow. That will be a pretty tense atmosphere because Newcastle's Alexander Isak, who's not playing for them, has been strongly linked with a move to Liverpool.
Yes.
It hasn't happened yet, and they're not happy with it. Yeah, and the only transfer we really have here is Eberechi Eze has been officially unveiled at Arsenal. And I'm trying to think, has there been any other moves of note? I don't
Not
think...
that I can think of. There are still teams making moves, and there's
absolutely.
Douglas Luiz. Did we confirm that?
Douglas Luiz is on his way to Forest.
Forest, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to double check this. I'm pretty sure Forest confirmed it on their
they probably
socials.
did. They most likely did, but a lot of signings for Forest, which is good for them. I'm trying to think of other teams from Europe signing. Well, Savio should be going to Spurs at some point, and honestly, we'll see. But that leaves us on to the international rugby.
Yes.
And the Women's Rugby World Cup, or
Yes,
just
sir.
the Rugby World Cup, as they don't have men's or women's in the name. It's just the Rugby World Cup.
Fair enough.
Pool A, the hosts England, massive win for them. Ella Kildoon grubbed the ball with her knee in one of his tries
she did.
against the US 69-7. Australia getting a big win over Samoa 73-0. If you're wondering why a lot of these scorelines are quite lopsided, is that this is the first time the Women's World Cup has expanded to 16 teams.
Yes.
So a little bit of a skill difference. Pool B, Scotland, big win over their local rivals Wales 38-8. Canada get a big win over Fiji 65-7. And Pool D, France beat Italy 24-0, and South Africa beat Brazil 66-6. And the other game in Pool C, Ireland get the win over Japan 42-14. We take on Japan on Monday. And that's your Women's World Cup for now. Obviously, more games to come. More games to come. Apparently, Ruby Tui doing an excellent job on punditry. The English media are really happy with her.
I actually heard her this morning on More FM.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was on More FM. She was crack up.
She always is. She's one of the greatest characters in sport in this country.
Yeah, like Simon and Lana asked, who do you have to worry about? And she gave some straight up answers, bro. She was like, nobody else but England. I was like, Canada is pissed.
No, they would be.
Canada is a secret juggernaut, trust me.
Oh, they are. And then the other rugby championship game, South Africa narrowly getting a win over Australia. Bit of revenge for last week, 30-22. Unfortunately, missed kicks from James O'Connor, and unfortunately, an ACL injury to
Tom Wright. That's tough.
Season's over. Could we see Max Jorgensen at fullback? We absolutely could, because he's a lanky guy who I think can play there.
Can I just give a shout out to the rugby championship this year? By the way, it is
super
close.
It's we're still on top,
awesome.
but it's still up for grabs, and it's great to see. And I am very nervous for the games against South Africa. But moving on to the Pacific Nations Cup, Canada, huge win for them against the US, 34-20. They've kind of struggled at times this year, so they'll be very happy to get a win over the US. And then Tonga, who were able to name a stronger team from Samoa, get the win over them in Tonga 30-16. It currently puts the US and Samoa at risk of having to compete in the playoff versus South America 2 to get to the 2027 Rugby World Cup. That's likely to be the loser of Uruguay versus Chile. And if they lose that, they have to go to the final qualification tournament, which they should probably win that based on the teams which will be in that tournament. But it's just a bunch of games they probably don't want to have to play. Fiji host Tonga in their first game of the comp this Saturday, as do Japan. They host Canada, so probably wins for both Fiji and Japan there, I'd assume. But that leaves us to the last topic of the day.
Yes, sir.
And it is kind of a segment, kind of not. We're going to be doing our NFL predictions, and instead of going full all out and doing it very specifically, we're just going to...
Too much work.
We're going to just pick who's winning each division, and then from that, predict who we're going to think makes the Super Bowl. Obviously, multiple teams from each division can qualify for the playoffs. So, are we just going to say who tops the division?
Yeah, I reckon we just go
because it's
with,
confusing in the playoffs how they have the divisional games. I'm like, how the hell does that work?
So we'll name who we think's going to win each division, and then we'll pick the two teams who we think's going to be in the Super Bowl and who's going to win.
Let's do that, and we'll take turns reading off each conference, and then we'll both say who we think's going to win that conference.
Yes, sir.
So I'll start off the NFC North, where I'm actually going to confirm my allegiance, because I've never really fully cemented my allegiance.
Oh, you've got an allegiance
in the
now.
NFL. This was a team that many years ago I said I liked because I liked their color, I liked their stadium, and you will know this. And the one Madden game I do have, I did select them as my favorite team. Although the first team I did try to have an allegiance to, and it happened just after they won the Super Bowl, was the Denver Broncos, and that was only because one of my friends claimed to be a Denver Broncos fan at the time. He's now an Eagles fan and actually saw them play the other day in preseason. So
say less.
The NFC North has the Green Bay Packers, who have Jordan Love, the Chicago Bears, with Caleb Williams, the Detroit Lions, with Jared Goff, and the Minnesota Vikings, with, I'm guessing, JJ McCarthy. And I, if you can guess, I'm pledging my allegiance to the Minnesota Vikings, despite the fact I loved what the Lions did last year, and I know that's criminal to respect any of the other NFC North teams. Unfortunately, I don't think the Vikings have enough, and although I did like a lot of what the Packers did last year, I am going to stick with the Lions probably taking out this division, because I think they took it out last year. They've got Jared Goff, they've got some great players like Laporta, they've got AJ... So they've got coming off of injury, Hutchinson. Hutchinson, that's right.
Yes, they've got Hutchinson. They've built a great team. And Dan Campbell, their coach, has done a job.
Penei Sewell as well. I think it's going to be the Lions. Who do you think?
This is underratedly.
I think because there's a chance all the teams in one division can make playoffs, right?
Yes,
I think this is that division.
Yes.
I think this is the division where that happens, because I don't think the Vikings are going to be bad, because I do rate JJ McCarthy as someone who's probably good, even though he missed his entire rookie year.
Yeah. There's the other North division could do that as well, but this is, like you just said, an underratedly close division, especially if the Chicago Bears keep improving.
I don't even think it's underratedly close. I think it's
extremely close.
I think most people know it's close. The Bears will probably be the one who doesn't make it, but that's because it's a young team. Though. They are. They definitely are.
I also think the Detroit Lions will come out the top of this division, but I mean, who knows, man? Because Packers always a competitive team.
You can't rule them out.
And then also the Minnesota Vikings, another great team. Justin Jefferson, JJ McCarthy, who I guess this is his rookie year because he tore his ACL last year. Who knows how good he could be?
He was great for Michigan.
And they've also got a solid defense there as well. So it'll be interesting. But shall we move on to the next NFC division, which happens to be the NFC? I'm pretty sure I put there the East or the West.
The West.
I put the West, which is the San Francisco 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks, the LA Rams, and the Arizona Cardinals. So I'm going to guess that this one is a 3/2 horse race, but I really think it's going to be between the Cardinals are improved. Don't get me wrong. The LA Rams, I mean, I somewhat think they're in a transition to a rebuild.
I think they are. The Eagles are kind of in a rebuild as well.
Yep. But Seahawks also signed Cooper Kupp from the LA Rams, so you never know what's going to happen there. Geno Smith is a very solid quarterback as well. And the San Francisco 49ers... I
thought Geno Smith went to the Raiders.
Oh, no, sorry, you're right. He did go to the Raiders. They signed Sam Darnold.
The Vikings.
The Vikings, who played very well for the Vikings last year. Hopefully he does the same for the Seahawks. I'm sure Seahawks fans are hoping for that. And the San Francisco 49ers, they had a down year last year. I mean, they've still got Nick Bosa. They've still got Trent Williams on the offensive line.
Still got Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy's still there back slinging it.
George Kittle's.
Fred Warner. I'm pretty sure it's Fred Warner. Is still the best middle linebacker in the league. So that's going to be, I think it's probably a 2 to 3 horse race between the 49ers, Seahawks, and the Cardinals. You could see the Cardinals come out top of this division. I think it's going to be the 49ers.
I was going to say, I think this is clearly going to be won by the 49ers. I thought this was going to be a clear 49ers conference, but I could be completely wrong. As we move over to the NFC East,
yes, sir.
where we have the current Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, with the ever-improving Washington Commanders with a great quarterback in Jaden Daniels. You have the team everyone loves to hate, me included, the Dallas Cowboys, and the New York Giants, which I have no idea where they are at the moment in terms of where they're building. Although apparently the vibes seem to be good at the moment in preseason. I think this is a 2-horse race between the Eagles and the Commanders. Sorry, Cowboys fans. Actually, I'm not sorry.
Nah, stuff them.
And I think the Eagles...
As a Steelers fan, stuff them.
I think the Eagles probably take this unless they have a massive amount of injuries, because the Commanders could sneak in, but they're definitely going to be hot in their tail. But the Eagles...
Yeah, I think it'd be the Eagles too. It's funny, the Commanders in rumours have been trading away who I would consider their best player, which is Terry McLaughlin, the wide receiver. I don't know why they would do that. Are they thick? But even if that doesn't happen, I still think the Eagles are taking this division out. But yes, you're right.
Yeah.
I do think it is a 2-horse race. But what is actually the next division, which I think is a 4-horse race?
Yeah, I genuinely can tell you who's going to win this.
Yeah, in the NFC South, which usually happens, you've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you've got the Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, and New Orleans Saints. Both.
Okay, maybe I do have an idea here. You go first.
Look, I know people are going to hype up the Panthers. Bryce Young, number 1 pick. They've got Tetaidor McMillan now to add to that wide receiver core. I mean, Tampa Bay has got Baker Mayfield. They've still got Tristan Wirfs on the line. Atlanta Falcons, they'll start Michael Penix Jr., who's in his second year. And the New Orleans Saints are pretty much in a rebuild.
Who did they sign a quarterback again?
They didn't sign. I don't think they signed anybody, but they did draft a second-round quarterback. I think it's Tyler Shaw. I think that's how you say his name, or Show, something along those lines.
Well, it's the Big Show.
But who I think will win the Big Show in the NFC South? Oh, this is tough because you've got 4 teams, maybe 3 teams outside of the Saints.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's somewhat out there. I'm going to say Falcons.
Oh,
I'm going to say the Falcons.
I'm going to go because I've always thought he was a decent quarterback and got fucking the short end of the stick at a franchise which has given a lot of people the short end of the stick.
Yes.
And one guy who shouldn't have gotten the long end of the stick, The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
But I feel...
I could see that.
The Falcons and the Panthers also high up there. Bryce Young improved a lot as the season went on last year. He did. And looks like he will be a very good quarterback for a very long time.
My concern with the Panthers is that offensive line. It's not very good.
No, but I'd love to see Tetoida McMillan do well as well. Absolutely.
And the Falcons, I mean, you've got Penix Jr. If he can sling it, they'll be great because you've got Drake London at wide receiver and Kyle Pitts at tight end. Both great catches. The question will be their defense, but I think they'll have enough to just get over the Buccaneers. But next is my team.
Well, I will. But
let's go.
It's my conference to read, unfortunately.
Yes, sir. Go for it.
The AFC North, you have your Pittsburgh Steelers, but then unfortunately you have 2 other very good teams in the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals, and you have the Cleveland Browns. I don't think this is a particularly hard decision to make, and I know you're not going to be happy, but you're going to understand. It's the Ravens. It's absolutely the Ravens. The Ravens are winning this. The Bengals are probably second if Joe Burrow doesn't just get killed by the lack of an offensive line.
Yes. I agree with you.
And the Browns are bottom.
Yeah. I agree with you. I
the
do
Browns
think
are
it's
bottom,
the Ravens.
although I know they're not terrible.
But here's the interesting thing, right? Because what the Cleveland Browns have, what the trend has been is they have a bad season, then a really good season, then a bad season, then a really good season.
It's better than
they had
winless 2 years in a row.
Exactly. They had a bad season last year. So, like the NFC North, you could see the AFC North with 4 teams. Now,
maybe.
I don't think that's going to happen. Do I think the Ravens win it? Yes. I know Steelers fans are going to...
And they've just added more to their team, like they did last year. Like they added Derrick Henry last year, and they keep on adding...
I mean, they just added one of the best slot corners in the league, if not the best, in Jair Alexander for cheap because he was released by the Green Bay Packers.
God.
And you know what's funny? So you know how you're a fan of the Minnesota Vikings? I have a friend at work who... like, I was always a Steelers fan. I always said that. We always talk sports. Somehow, all of a sudden, he's a Ravens fan. And then I grew up in baseball, as you know. Well, not grew up in baseball, but as baseball, I was an A's fan. I don't really follow baseball anymore.
Well, they left, so...
Yeah, all of a sudden, this guy becomes a Seattle Mariners fan, who are in the same division again.
I mean, it's probably...
I'm just saying.
They're kind of 2 kind of cool teams. I think
just saying.
Seattle's got a cool name, they've got a cool kit. They've obviously had some great players in the past, like Ichiro. Yeah. But the Ravens have a cool color scheme and some great players.
I can't lie to you. I'm saying it, and he's like, Dylan, don't say that, don't say it. I don't care. You've got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. You've got Kyle Hamilton in safeties with young rookie Malachi Starks. That could be a great duo. You've got Roquan Smith in the middle. You've got Jair Alexander now at corner. You have no excuse.
You don't.
No excuse.
No excuse.
But I do think if Aaron Rodgers, who's the Steelers quarterback, 41 years old, has the best year a 41-year-old can have. I do think the Steelers could finish second in that division, but I do think they finish above 500 and just sneak in to the playoffs. And then lose in the first round, as we usually do. You've got to make fun of your own team. So,
exactly.
So, yeah, but I do think the Ravens win that. I don't think the Ravens have an excuse, especially to win that, but I would say even to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll move on to the next one. Everybody's favorite, the AFC West, which has the Kansas City Chiefs, the LA Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos. You know what? I'm going to throw an audible out there.
Oh, shit.
I'm throwing an audible. I don't think the Chiefs win the division. I'm saying it.
Tough.
I'm saying it. I do think Patrick Mahomes is great. I do think he's going to play great.
Who's winning instead of him?
I'm throwing an audible out there because I was quite impressed with their play towards the end of the year. And they've got some great young players there too. I actually think the Broncos win the AFC West.
Bo Nix's Denver Broncos.
Bo Nix improved much throughout the year. And I'm sure...
They were really good last year. I do remember now. Because they made the playoffs, didn't they?
I think just. They had the Defensive Player of the Year, and I think it was pretty sure it's Patrick Surtain at corner. I actually do genuinely think that the Broncos could win that. Most people say the Chiefs, of course, and that is completely understandable, but I'm going to throw an audible out there, funnily enough, pun intended.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos are winning this division, and I think it's actually going to be close between them, the Chiefs, and the Chargers.
It's going to say, I think that's the three-horse race. I know the Raiders are rebuilding at the moment with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and seemingly everyone who used to play for Seattle, but I just assumed the Chiefs would take this, but you saying the Broncos has inspired me. I think the Chargers are great. I know Justin Herbert's probably still a little bit underrated.
Yeah. He's a great quarterback.
He's a very good quarterback. I'm going to say that the rivalry between the Chiefs and the Broncos heats up this year. And I'm going to say that the Chiefs narrowly take it, but then they probably lose in the first round.
Oh, I don't think they'll lose in the first round. I think we're still talking about the Chiefs here, but yeah.
No, I have a feeling they'll shit the bed. They'll get praised for overcoming the Broncos.
You have just made every single NFL fan outside of the Chiefs really happy.
I know. But moving on to the AFC East, I think this one's pretty obvious.
Yes.
You have the New York Jets, the New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, and the Miami Dolphins. Give me the Buffalo Bills and the Dolphins in second. Maybe the Pats in second. We'll see.
Yep. I don't think the Pats will be second. New York Jets did sign Justin Fields, who I wanted to re-sign with the Steelers, but the Jets overpaid for Justin Fields, paying him $20 million a year for 2 years.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills win this, I think, and then I genuinely think that the Jets could compete for second, but it'll probably be the Dolphins, especially if Tua stays healthy and doesn't hit his head again.
Yeah.
So, which I do hope the best for him. So, and then the last one, the AFC South, which is closer than a lot of people think. You've got the Houston Texans, you've got the Jacksonville Jaguars or Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans, and the Indianapolis Colts. I'm telling you, is going to be closer than people think. I do think the Texans still pull it out with CJ Stroud. Yeah. I would think having an improved year. But the Colts look good. I'm not going to lie. The Colts look good.
Are they still rocking Anthony Richardson at quarterback?
No, they just dropped Richardson to the bench.
Oh, for who?
I've completely forgot off the top of my head. But I think the Colts actually have, outside of quarterback, which they'll need to sort out, a really solid team. They drafted Tyler Warren from Penn State, who was, to me, even though he wasn't the first tight end drafted, the best tight end in college football last year. I think he's looked really good in preseason. They do have a really solid defense. DeForest Buckner in the middle of that at defensive tackle. So the Colts could compete. I do think the Texans have too much, though, and they pull this one out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Texans take this, but I'm always intrigued by the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence because he obviously had a very...
And now Travis Hunter, who could play both sides of the ball.
Yeah, so Chuck, one of the most hyped quarterbacks of all time from high school and college, and Trevor Lawrence, who only lost about 2 games before he got to the NFL. And then you have Travis Hunter, equally as hyped because he can play at the highest level as a wide receiver or cornerback.
Yep.
Be very interesting to see what they can pull off. And obviously, I would have said in previous years, at least the Titans have Derrick Henry, but I can't even say that anymore.
No,
so
although they do have the number 1 pick in the draft, Cam Ward, now at quarterback.
Yes, so it'll be interesting to see how he works. So let's actually do... I don't know if we have to do any math, but maybe let's try see who we think will be in the conference finals, and then also
Oh, yep, in the conference championship.
Because I feel like I'd like to try and figure that out. So
I'm cool with that. I've got my picks then.
So I'm just quickly.
We'll go. Do you want to go through yours first?
Okay, so I definitely one of those teams,
Okay.
and yeah, sure, yeah, I know my NFC conference game, and I think I know my AFC conference game.
I think I've got my AFC conference game, and I'm pretty sure I've got my NFC one.
Yeah,
Which one do you want to start with?
We'll start with NFC, and I'll go first. I have got the Philadelphia Eagles returning to the NFC conference game. We're able to take on, again, the Detroit Lions.
Okay, well, funnily enough, they didn't take on the Detroit Lions in the conference championship last year.
Who did they take on again?
They took on the Commanders, who beat the Lions.
That's right, but the Lions have been in the conference, they've been in Super Bowl, so that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
But Eagles v Lions, and should I say my AFC one as well?
Have the Lions been to? They haven't been to no Super Bowl.
Didn't they go to a Super Bowl a couple of years ago?
Let me.
Did they not go to the? Didn't Jared Goff go to the Super Bowl?
He did with the Rams.
Yeah, but didn't he go to another one with the or did he just get close with the Lions?
No, I think he got close with the Lions
the year before. Oh no, the 49ers won. But didn't he get to he got to a conference?
Oh, he would. I think they got to the conference championship with the Lions. That I wouldn't be surprised by. But anyway, that's besides the point.
My AFC,
so that's your NFC.
And I think my AFC one's kind of obvious. I've got the Baltimore Raiders and the Buffalo Bills.
So you've got the Baltimore Ravens.
And
the Buffalo Bills. Well, NFC, like you, I've got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. And in the AFC, I've got the Baltimore Ravens. And I didn't think about the second team, but you know what? Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. I think it'll be the Buffalo Bills
I'd love to see it be the Texans, so I'll say that. I'd love to see the Texans get this. Or maybe even the Broncos. And in the NFC, I'd love to see the 49ers get back there because I wish they had won that Super Bowl. And I'd love to see the Commanders up in there again. Obviously, maybe it was a season too early last year. And then in the other conference, I'd love to see...
Of course, I'd love to see the Steelers in the conference championship, but I don't think that's happening.
And the Packers could get there. You don't know.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Well, we've got two matchups there. So who you got in the Super Bowl? First of all, let's go NFC.
Who I'm going to see actually win? I forgot about that.
Who have you got, first of all, making the Super Bowl from those conference championships?
Eagles versus...
Lions.
Ooh. Give me Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Give me Detroit.
You know what? I will go with my NFC as well because we got the same championship. You know what? You're a good man. Give me the Lions as well.
Yeah.
Give me the freaking Lions. I really want to see them get that. This team has been for 50 years. Shit.
And then the AFC.
Let them get there, man.
The Ravens versus the Bills.
Yeah. Who you got?
They fuck it up again. It's the Bills.
No, you really think so?
We're going to get the all-time underachiever bowl. We're going to get the Lions versus the Bills in a Super Bowl.
You've just pissed off my friend Ollie, who I was talking about before.
Sorry,
with
mate.
with the thing. You know what?
Lions, Bills, injected into my veins.
Look, I
don't hate the Eagles or the Ravens though.
Look, the Steelers-Ravens rivalry is very much like the All Blacks South Africa. That is a perfect comparison for me. But I think the Ravens are getting through, man.
Yeah.
So to me, I think it'd be the Ravens and Lions in the Super Bowl, which I actually picked last year, but I think it will happen this year. And you've got the Bills and the Lions. Now, your question: who wins? Did the Lions win their first one, or did the Bills fuck it up for a fifth time? Who you got? Who you got?
A nuclear bomb goes off in the arena, and no, I'm kidding. Give me.
Who you got, man?
Detroit Lions.
Oh, yes.
Give me the Lions. I know I'm Viking term, but give me the Lions. I think they're overdue, and it sucks for the Bills. But, their quarterback, Josh Allen, he can only win so much in life. Yes, you're paid so much money. Yes, you've married to Haley Steinfeld, but maybe you just don't get that Super Bowl.
Man, well, I've got the Ravens and Lions, and, man, I know I've got this rivalry with the Ravens as a Steelers fan. I really want to see the Lions win it. But, look, I think the Ravens get it.
Yeah, they've just got too much.
I do think the Ravens get it. I really want the Lions to win a Super Bowl, and I do think very soon, I would say in the next 3 years, they do win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
But like I said, I don't think the Ravens have an excuse. And I do think they win it, and I think that is, for players they've got there. I'm going to say it, because I'm not going to be that guy that's just going to hate on my rival team. So I do think they are a really, really good team.
Can't hate on them.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, those guys definitely deserve Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like they've built a really great team there, and I do think they win it. I think it's the Ravens win the Super Bowl, and you've got who you got?
I've got the Lions.
You've got the Lions.
So I've got the Lions beating the Bills, and you've got the Ravens beating the Lions.
Yes.
So we'll come back to this in February, and we'll see who's...
When we've completely fucked it up.
We'll be coming to you live from wherever the Super Bowl is. We won't have tickets because they're so expensive. We'll just camp outside the arena with our mics and report on the game.
Oh, man.
Wherever it is, we can obviously look it up. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Wherever the Super Bowl is at the end of the season. But on that... utter and total bombshell. That is us for another week of the CouchSide Sports Report, covering all that was needed. Once again, if you haven't followed us everywhere, do so. We're on all the platforms of note. Linktree available somewhere. You can find it. You're an adult. And that's us, Dylan. Thank you so much for hosting us once again, and thank you for sticking around for yet another 1 hour plus long podcast. We'll be back next week, not talking about the All Blacks, thankfully, but talking about what happened in the NRL with one game to go. The penultimate week. We'll also be chatting NPC, Farah Palmer Cup, the Women's Rugby World Cup, and also what's been going on in the Premier League, what's been going on in the world of football. And also, I assume the NFL games are starting this weekend?
No, they're not. They'll be starting next weekend.
Oh, next weekend. Oh, well, we'll be previewing those individual games. And,
actually, let me double check that
and college football games. We didn't talk about any of the games which happened this weekend. I know that game in Ireland took place. Don't know who won it, but congratulations to whoever did.
I still find it so hard to keep up with. It's insane.
Oh, college football, it's funny. It's just fun, though, because then you you get to follow players, and then you get to see where they get drafted.
True.
And
so the first game for the NFL is September the 5th. So it won't be next week. It'll be the week after.
But we will cover that. And what game was that?
The start of the game, which is Thursday night football, aka Friday night.
Is this a game in mainland America? Because I know they kicked off the season overseas last year. If you click on the game, we'll tell you what stadium it is.
So, funnily enough, the Pittsburgh Steelers' first game is in Dublin.
Yes,
in Ireland. So that'll be one of the. I'm pretty sure it's one international. Yeah. But the Cowboys and Eagles, NFC East.
Well, click on it.
They kick it off
and scroll to the bottom. What ground does it say?
It says that it is in Philadelphia.
Okay, because I'm
pretty sure the only.
Because didn't the Packers open the season last year against someone in Brazil?
Yes.
That looks sick, by the way.
Oh, actually, no. This Pittsburgh are actually playing at MetLife Stadium in New York, so they're playing against the Jets are at home. But I know they do play in Dublin at some point.
At one point,
year.
And I think there's
it's a home game for the Steelers.
And then not this season, but the season after we get the NFL game in Melbourne. So that will be at the MTG. Strange place for
and
NFL.
I will say this: if the Steelers are playing in that game, I might have to go.
If the game happens,
yes. Just
in general,
yes.
We might have to go.
Yes, that's a very good point.
But thank you very much for watching this, and we'll be back, like we said, covering all of that. Shabazz. Dylan, have a great rest of your week.
You too, mate.
And everyone who's watching, you too as well. If you're watching this right now, there's sport on at some stage. Go watch it. It's fun. Also, US Open tennis is on. Will we remember to cover it next week? Probably not, because there's a lot of games. But we do like a bit of tennis. But
yes, sir.
Dylan and I, thank you so much for watching. And until next time,
CouchSide out.
CouchSide out.